Hey, my name is Abhishek Jain, and I'm here to share my perspectives on enterprise B2B SaaS product management. Typically, Product Management 101 states that a good product management team should be very close to their users to be able to build right products. But when it comes to B2B enterprise SaaS product management, I think along with being very close to your users, it is also very important for good product management teams to be able to understand their customers' business, the kind of business process they follow, their org structure, the kind of products they sell, their growth plans, their challenges, and their constraints. And I think why this is important is for you to be able to, with this understanding, you will be able to build products that essentially drive high ROI for your customers. And I think driving high ROI is the holy grail of building great products in a B2B setup, right? So this is one important fact that I think I could share from my learnings. And then how do you drive high ROI is by leveraging your customer facing teams internally and through them learning the ground realities of your customer's business at scale. So broadly, two important learnings or two important thesis that essentially you should follow to be a good or a great product management in a B2B setup, which is basically being able to build products that essentially drive high ROI by learning what your customer's business is all about through your customer facing teams internally, right? And I say this with some amount of confidence because of my time in a typical B2B SaaS space for a very long time. In fact, I've scaled multiple products from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and 10 to 100. And I've in fact shared this learning through a humorous Bollywood take within my organization and also in a couple of external forums about how to scale a B2B product by leveraging your customer facing teams and growth teams. You can obviously have a look at it using this link. Okay, so now that we are past this shameless plug, I have another interesting Bollywood take to talk about and explain what do I exactly mean by leveraging your customer facing teams. So traditionally, product management teams and product managers are good at talking to users, understanding what the users need, and then being able to collaborate very closely with engineering and design team to get things done. But when it comes to a B2B product management, it is very important, along with doing this, to be able to extract understandings of your customer facing teams and different customer facing teams for that matter, right? And from a typical sales funnel point of view, it is customer nurturing team at the top of the funnel, which includes your marketing, SDR, pre-sales, customer conversion teams, which essentially includes your sales engineering and sales teams, and then your customer satisfaction teams, professional services, customer success, customer support teams, right? And then funneling down all of these learning to be able to build the right product by collaborating very closely with your dev, design, and QA teams, and also bringing them closer to your customers and their business, right? So that essentially, in a nutshell, talks at a very high level about what I think a typical B2B product management is, right? And obviously, how do you do this is something that I would like to talk about in the next section, where I explain product managers or product management teams' role in different phases of the product and the business, and how do they collaborate, and what are their responsibilities and goals with different teams that I mentioned earlier. So coming back to the roles and responsibilities of product management while their interaction with customer facing teams, it's obvious that the roles, the goals, and the responsibilities will be starkly different in different phases of the product. 0 to 1 will have different kind of roles to play from a product management team point of view with their customer facing teams, and 1 to 10 will have a very different roles to play, and obviously 10 to 100 will have a very different roles to play. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll take an example of 1 to 10 as to explain the roles and responsibilities of product management teams in collaboration with the customer facing teams. So, and obviously why I'm taking this as an example is because 0 to 1 and 10 to 100 has some form of overlap with 1 to 10. So when it comes to customer nurturing teams, typically in a 1 to 10 phase of the product, the most important job of product management team is to be able to work very closely with these nurturing teams like SDR, pre-sales, and marketing to be able to identify the niche segments or the market segments where you think your product will win. And this obviously comes from your learning of 0 to 1 journey, right? And once you identify these segments, the next aspect is to be able to double down on these segments and replicate your growth story. Then when it comes to your customer conversion teams, right, in this case, the product management journey is about taking your learnings from 0 to 1 phase and devising a story for different verticals or different markets that sells very well, right? Which essentially talks about high ROI, the impact that it drives, and the ease of use and all the other aspects of your product. So your ability to be able to craft a story that resonates well with the businesses and which is easy for your customer sales teams to be able to sell, that becomes, I think, one of the most important job or responsibilities of product management teams. Then when it comes to the post conversion, which is basically now that you have your customers and when you're interacting with your customer satisfaction teams or you're driving your customer satisfaction teams framework, now it is important for the product management team to be able to get deep into the customer workflows through your customer satisfaction teams and being able to identify the gaps early on and be very proactive in filling those gaps through product or process intervention as and when needed, right? And obviously all of these then essentially then translates into, in a 1 to 10 journey, being able to work very closely with your product development team through all of these learnings and driving your product from an engineering and design point of view for scale, right? And also ensuring that in this phase you understand what your cost structures are from a cloud cost and operation cost point of view, and ensuring that you maintain those costs and try to improve your margin as the day passes, right? So I think that becomes broadly some of the responsibilities of product management teams while interacting with or while working with different customer facing teams. So before we wrap things up, I would like to quickly touch upon this pyramid of growth. This is kind of, in a nutshell, my learnings and a framework to be able to drive faster product growth, right? And this essentially starts with having a very strong product culture within your organization, and then being able to craft a very clear and high impact story around your product, which essentially can be marketed well and sold well, right? And obviously, while you're doing this, you will be able to pick a couple of verticals where you have driven early success or good success. Then it is about you identifying additional verticals or those niche markets or some of those use cases through your product, which essentially you can cater, and identifying multiple such verticals and catering to those verticals with more or less a similar product. Once you pass this, once you have a couple of verticals where you are doing well and where you have essentially established a strong success, then the job is to be able to build a large replicable distribution strategy through maybe partner sales, through maybe different other aspects, and then being a multi-product organizations to be able to have multiple growth engines for your organization through product management, right? So this brings me to the end. Thank you for your time. Looking forward to hearing from you.